Namaskar. I'm Harpreet Kaur and I welcome you all to our live and interactive online training on online and digital education in the lens of NEP 2020. You are watching us live on PM eVidya channels 6 to 12 and also on our YouTube handle NCERT Official. This training program is organized by CIET-NCERT New Delhi and it's a 5-day, 5-hour online training program, which means there is going to be an assessment on the last day of the training session as well. Today we are in day 1 of our online training and the topic that we are taking up is online and digital education perspectives of NEP and NCF. I'm sure you must be having a lot of questions regarding the training program, regarding day 1 session and of course about the topic that will be discussed during the session. So please feel free to get in touch with us. Our phone number is 8800440559. Our email ID is training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in and on our YouTube handle NCERT Official as well. You can send us your questions, suggestions and of course your feedback. Now, for a day 1 training session, we are joined by our expert, Professor Indu Kumar. Ma'am is Head of Department of Information and Communication Technology and Training Division from CIET-NCERT. Ma'am, namaskar and very warm welcome to the session.
Thank you.
Now, ma'am, before I actually ask you a lot of questions about today's topic, I request you to kindly share us in brief what all you'll be covering in the session today.
So we will be covering the policy perspectives of ICT and educational technology education, what policy says and what are the issues and challenges that we face for the implementation of technology in education. So, and what is the relationship between education and technology, and also what has been the historical perspective when we talk about technology in education from where we started and where we are now. We will also be talking about what recommendations have been made in NCF for school education and foundational learning, keeping in view the recommendations of NEP 2020. How technology should be integrated for different stages of education. So in a nutshell, we will be covering these points in today's presentation.
Ma'am, these are very two important documents that you're mentioning, NEP 2020 and NCF. Ma'am, basically when we talk about education today, we're not just talking about the traditional way of teaching and learning, which is chalk and duster. We're talking about blended mode of learning. We're including online and offline technologies both when it comes to teaching and learning. So when I ask you, what is the relationship between education and technology? What do you have to say about it?
Yeah, the relationship between education and technology is bidirectional. It is a two-way relationship between education and technology. On the one hand, technology offers a lot of solutions for enhancing the quality of education. On the other hand, education also demands a lot of solutions from technology as per the emerging demand on the day-to-day basis. For example, enhancing educational delivery and access is one of the very important area of concern which we need to address. So in the past, there were a lot of instances when NCERT's textbooks were not reaching to the stakeholders on time because of many constraints, which may be geographical, which may be systemic, and many more solutions. But now technology has made it possible to deliver the textbooks on time because through digital mode. So we have an ePathshala mobile app in which all the textbooks in digital formats are there. So now textbooks are on the palm top of every stakeholder, be it teacher, be it students, or it reaches to the far-flung areas also, because mobile technology is something which is being spread in the country and across the world very rapidly. Everyone has an access to and smartphone. So that is how educational access has been made easy by technology, and it is demand of education as well. So that is how it is a two-way process. And also there are a lot of portals and app which deliver educational content, quality educational contents to the stakeholders. So there are a lot of concepts which needs mediation of technology. So that is the demand of education. It's not that whatever technology is offering, we should accept and integrate it into education. On the one hand, there are educational demand as per the curricular needs, and we need technological solutions as per the demand, as per the need of education. So that is how the relationship is bidirectional. On the one hand, there are solutions, and on the other hand, there are demands. So these solutions and demands should go hand in hand, not they should not go in isolation. Whatever technology is being offered, it is not necessary that we should implement everything, integrate everything in the educational scenario.
Right. So, ma'am, you are talking about solutions and demands. It also leads me to my another question, that when there are demands, there are challenges and issues as well.
Yeah, right.
And in a country like India, where we have diverse learners, where even technology doesn't come handy always, because people are residing in far-flung areas. So, when we actually try to bring a model of education plus technology, a bi-directional model, were there any issues and were there any challenges that we needed to overcome?
Yes. So in a country like India, we face a lot of issues and challenges when it comes to the integration of technology in education, implementation of technology mediated education. So in first challenge is that, as you can see on the slide, India is a diverse country. India is a very vast country. Diversity in itself becomes a big challenge, and this diversity is also not one directional. It is we have multifarious diversity. We have geographical diversity, we have linguistic diversity, we have diverse ethnic groups also in our country. So this diversity is multifarious, and technology need to provide to this diversity, should just address the diverse kind of diversity that we have. For example, we have linguistic diversity, but content on internet is available primarily in English, but we need to have in the content in multiple languages. We need to have technological solutions like different portals and app. The interface of these portals and apps need to be in multiple languages. As we know, there are 22 languages which are listed in the 8th schedule of Indian Constitution, and 23 being the English. So at least we need to have content solutions, textbooks in at least 23 languages. So because we have diversity. And likewise, there are far-flung areas where internet becomes a very big challenge to reach. So in that scenario, we need to have solutions like multi-mode delivery of education. We need to harness the potential of mobile technology, broadcast and telecast technology, and also reaching there through portals and apps. And also we need to look into offline solutions as well to address this diversity. In the geographical scenario also, it is diverse. Ethnic groups are also diverse. So geography is also not our immediate surrounding is also not same as we have in most of the countries. We have coastal areas also, we have hilly areas also, we have plain areas also, we have plateaus also. So India, we have
Deserts.
Desert also, and we have those small islands also in our country. And the challenges all these geographical locations face are also multifarious and different. The agricultural practice, for example, which happens in plain areas is not the same in the hilly areas, in plateaus, in coastal areas. So, for that purpose, if there is a chapter on agricultural practices, so it need to address that diversity. But in one chapter, we cannot just include all these examples. But technology brings us the solution. We can discuss agriculture, but digital content aligned to the textbooks may have such solutions, such examples wherein we address the diversity, and that is how children can understand the diverse scenario. And this example can also replicate it to many more concepts which which get influenced by the geographical diversity. Then there is another challenge which arises from the large scale. India is not only geographically vast, but we have a large population also. We are the populous most country in the world. Earlier China was the most populous country, but now India has surpassed China also. So likewise, the population of students and the population of teachers is also very vast. So we have to scale up anything which we do in education, in the field of education, to all this large scale population of India. So we have more than 26 crore school going children in our country, and the population of teachers is also nearing crores. So any thing that we do for the professional development of teachers, we need to reach out to this crores of the population of teachers, and anything which is there in the curriculum should reach to 26 crore of student population. So that large scale is another challenge which technology can address to, if used appropriately. So we can find online solution to scale up the professional development of teachers, and I have already mentioned the portal and apps through which we are making educational access easy for the students, and that is how we are trying to meet the challenge of large scale of Indian population. Another challenge is infrastructure. So in small country we can have uniformity in infrastructure. So same infrastructure can be made available to all the children in a country like Finland, which is very small. But in India, where there are budgetary provisions for so many challenges, issues and aspects, so we have differentiated infrastructure, and that is a reality. Infrastructure is not the same in India, but NEP 2020 talks about the development of bare minimum infrastructure in all the schools of our country, all the teacher education institutions of the country. Earlier, electricity was also a big challenge because the far-flung areas, especially rural areas, were not electrified. But in the past few decades, the rural areas are also electrified. So that gives us that opportunity to develop infrastructure in those areas as well. So that has been a challenge, but we are trying to meet all these challenges. Then another challenge is technology competencies. So the technology competencies among teachers and students is also differentiated, as we all know. We are not prepared, we were not prepared to handle technology, we still are not. But we need to focus more and more on developing technological competencies among our students and among our teachers. And it became more evident during the time of pandemic, where entire regular school system came to an halt, and we need to move on to the online mode. So then this challenge become more evident, that our teachers are not equipped appropriately to handle technology, to use technology for delivery of education. But I really admire their effort to use technology in their own limitations to reach out to the children of this country. Then quality digital resources is another challenge. When we integrate technology in education, we need to have quality digital resources as well. So we need to focus on this area also to develop standard digital content, so that we offer quality digital content to our students and teachers. Then another challenge is convergence in effort. Generally, in a country like India, where education is in the concurrent list, which is also in the central list and state list, where states are free to have autonomy to utilize their educational budget in as per the demand of the state. So sometimes when we talk about technology integration, convergence of efforts is not there. Parallelly, people are working on the same kind of efforts, which leads to the wastage of a lot of human and financial resources. Like there are a lot of portals and apps in the market, and everybody just applies them in the field, spending a lot of money on that. So we need to have convergence of effort to meet this challenge. I would like to cite one example, which is DICT. DICT is one nation, one digital platform, but it is not controlled from the center. Every state and union territory has their own spaces on DICT, where they can have their textbooks, their content in their own regional language, and we are making effort to convergence of effort. Efforts are converged into coming up with one digital platform which suits to the need of our diverse population. So these are some of the challenges, Harpreet, which I wanted to highlight.
Well, ma'am, what you mentioned is extremely crucial, because with so many stakeholders, forming the technology plus education space, we need to consolidate the efforts, we need to converge the efforts and bring them all at the same place.
Right.
Now, when we talk about ICT, it has become a buzzword in recent years, whether it's communication, education, information, entertainment, you name it, and ICT is there. So, how it all started in India? Because was it always there and we didn't know? Or was it used in some selective cases? So please take us through this journey when ICT first actually, or this idea was conceived in India, how we actually came to the, I would say, to the present phase where we are, and are we heading on to somewhere special?
Yeah, technology is something which is ever evolving.
Yes.
Not only ICT, here we are talking about educational technology. ICT is one component of educational technology.
Okay.
It is ever evolving. More than anything else, there are rapid changes in technology. One technology which is in today will get obsolete tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So that is the kind of scenario which we have. But it's not that technology wasn't being used in our country. It was being used in the form that it exists at that point of time. So it started in India in 1972 with the ET scheme, Educational Technology Scheme, which came into being for integration of technology in education. Then in 1983, NCERT came into being, which was about disseminating education through satellite, and you might be knowing that Doordarshan was also came into being, and educational content was also being delivered through television. Then in 1984, class project was implemented, and it was about the introduction of computers into school education, and it was implemented in the educational sector, and computers were given to the schools. And in 1986, NEP, the then NEP came into being. The new education policy 2020 came into being after 33 years of National Policy of Education 1986. So NEP 1986 also talks about the integration of technology also the broadcast and telecast technology for enhancing the quality of education, for making education joyful for children. Then in 1992, a program of action of NEP 2020 came into being, and it talked about how to implement national education policy 1986 and what steps needs to be taken for its implementation appropriately, and also in the area of educational technology. Then in 2004, as you can see in the slide as well, EduSat, education satellite, was launched in the country. And with this, the large scale penetration of the technology mediated education was happening. Then ICT at school scheme was also launched at this time, when the bare minimum infrastructure in all secondary and senior secondary schools, at least with 10 computers, was recommended by this ICT at school scheme for school education, as mentioned in the name itself, ICT at school. And for higher education, there was NEMI ICT, National Mission for Education ICT, was launched. So it was for higher education. The CAL was also launched at that time, Computer Aided Learning, which stands for. And in 2010, ICT at school scheme was revised, and the National ICT Awards were introduced, so that the integration of technology among teachers can be made possible by that, and it should encourage teachers to integrate technology in the teaching, learning and evaluation process. In 2012, ICT policy was framed in our country to strategically integrate ICT into teaching, learning and assessment. In 2013, based on the ICT at school scheme and based on the ICT policy, two major initiatives were launched by CIET-NCERT, one being NROER, National Repository of Open Educational Resources, and another one was ICT curriculum, to develop competency among students and teachers in the area of technology. NROER was also a repository like DICT, but it since it was the first initiative of creating a digital repository, there were several limitations which were overcome by DICT, which was launched later in 2017. And before that, in 2015, Digital India campaign was launched by the government, and e-Pathshala mobile app and e-PG Pathshala initiative was, by UGC for higher education, was launched. So, as I mentioned that the educational access was a challenge, delivery of textbooks on time was a challenge. So, e-Pathshala was there to meet this challenge, and e-Pathshala mobile app carried all the textbooks of NCERT and digital contents of NCERT in the app based solution, and we had everything related to textbooks and digital content on the palm top of every teacher and every child of this country. Then ePG Pathshala converted all PG courses into digital courses, online courses, so that they can be delivered online also. So, those students who are not able to attend college on a regular basis can go through the courses on through online mode. And in 2017, Swayam MOOCs initiative was launched, which was Swayam was an portal which carried courses which were initiated in 2015 by ePG Pathshala project. So, the courses which were converted into online were housed on Swayam MOOCs portal. MOOCs mean massive open online courses. So that happened in 2017 to carry those courses which were developed during 2 years on this portal. And then Swayam Prabha DTH channel was launched, which was a 24/7 DTH channel, and also Diksha, One Nation One Digital platform, which I already mentioned, was also launched in 2017. So in 2018, Samagra Siksha came into being. Earlier, education was looked at from a perspective where special drive were launched, like abhiyans were launched, like Sarv Siksha Abhiyan and Rashtriya Madhyamik Siksha Abhiyan, which used to focus on the specific level and of education. But now it was understood, realized that education should be looked into as a complete whole in the Samagra form, which we call it in Hindi. So Samagra Siksha was launched, that from pre-primary till senior secondary we need to look at education as a complete whole, and there shouldn't be gap anywhere which need to be addressed by the initiatives like Sarv Siksha Abhiyan and Madhyamik Siksha Abhiyan. Then cyber safety and security guidelines were also launched during this period. When we talk about developing competencies among teachers and students, although students are very competent on handling technology, they are fearless in handling technology, but when it comes to the threat aligned to the technology used, they are not much aware about it. So that is why cyber safety and security guidelines were also launched in this year. In 2019, as we can see, Nishtha project was launched, which was there for enhancing the quality of teacher education, in service teacher education, the professional development of teachers, and guidelines for development of e-contents were also launched in the year 2019. From 2020 to 2024, NEP 2020, as we know, we all are into the process of implementing NEP 2020. It was given away to the country. Then Pragyata guidelines, because it was the period when pandemic was there. So Pragyata guidelines were developed to just have some models for teachers on imparting digital education. So everything related to digital education are covered in these Pragyata guidelines. Then PM eVidya project was also launched during this period, which is an umbrella project and under which all initiatives for digital education come. Then NCF for school education, because this process goes on like that. Once national policy is there, then we need to develop curriculum framework, syllabus, textbooks and other curricular material related to the education, specific area of education. So this PM eVidya project was there to have all the digital initiatives under one umbrella, and NCFs were launched to address the specific area of education. Earlier, there were only one national curriculum framework catering to all the segments, all the levels of school education, but this time two are already there and we need to develop two more national curriculum frameworks addressing specific areas. One is NCF for school education and another one is NCF for foundational stage, which are already there. Then Prashast app for identifying disability for among student was there, early screening of disability among students. VSK Vidya Samiksha Kendra was launched during this period. NCF for school education, as already mentioned. National Digital Library was also launched, and eJadui Pitara for the foundational stage was also launched during this period. So these are some more details about the effort made in 1920-21 up till 2024. So national digital education architecture, it was a framework for the digital education. According to this framework, only digital solutions need to be made and developed. Before that, we can come to 2020 national education policy. We already know PM eVidya Pragyata guidelines. Then in 2022 national curriculum framework for foundational stage, because in NEP 2020 it has been mentioned that foundational stage need to be addressed in a mission mode, and Nipun Bharat mission was launched for this purpose, so that foundational learning can be made consolidated, and it should be strengthened, because all the other stages of education are based on the foundation which is laid during this particular period. Then in 2023 national curriculum for school education, Vidya Samiksha Kendra, which is for data driven decision making, and Prashast app for early screening of disability was launched, so that the education of the Divyang students, which has come up in a big way in NEP 2020 also, can be addressed in a strategic manner. A national digital library is to have a library in the digital format, so that books other than the curricular books can also be accessed through this digital library. And eJadui Pitara carries all the digital contents which are relevant for foundational learners.
Right.
So that was all about the historical, the timeline of how technology started integrating into education and where we stand today.
Yes, and the future looks brighter. There is still, I would say, there are still miles to go. And ma'am, when you talk about this journey, you mentioned so many things under the same, so many initiatives, so many new apps. I think it all was made possible because we had ICT with us. So when NEP 2020, it identified the challenges, it identified the scenarios, it identified what all it needs to cater to, what all new it should give to the society in terms of education, so that we can connect the last mile learner you know, with the present day technology, and we have to also serve the purpose of inclusion, equality, equity. I'm sure that NEP 2020 identified the technology has many benefits. It leveraged those benefits to our own good. So if we talk about those recommendations, if we talk about what all NEP 2020 acknowledged when it comes to technology and education, what do you have to say? What were the main areas that it identified and worked on it?
We need to understand it in a nutshell. What are the recommendations and thrust area of NEP 2020 as far as technology is concerned? So NEP 2020 recognizes the importance of these areas, as we can see in the slide, leveraging the advantages of technology while acknowledging the potential risk and dangers. On the one hand, we need to leverage technology. On the other hand, we also need to understand the potential risks and dangers which are aligned to the uses of technology, and we need to, on the one hand, work on the implementation of technology, integration of technology into education, and on the other hand, we also need to recognize and acknowledge the potential risks and dangers, and also need to work on the preventive measures, not the corrective but preventive measures. We have to foresee what dangers or upcoming dangers are there, risks are there, and we need to plan in advance to prevent all those risks which may align to technology. Then carefully designed and appropriately scaled pilot studies to determine the benefits of digital online education. So haphazardly technology need not to be implemented into the system. We need to have a sound research based as well. So we need to carefully design and scale pilot studies. Based on the results of these pilot studies, we need to come up with the potential solutions which we need to have for educational scenario. Then optimizing and expanding the existing digital platforms and ongoing ICT based educational initiative to meet the current needs and future challenges. So, we need to optimize the existing platforms, and also we need to develop newer solutions, keeping in view the future demands which may arise, future challenges which may arise. So, this is the another area. Then using technology for online and digital education adequately to address concerns of equity. So, many times we have discussed here what is the difference between equity and equality. Equality is not something, equality is a far-fetched dream. So, not any point of time we can have equality, but we can have equal opportunities. But giving equal opportunities is not is also not enough until and unless we make our student population able enough to avail those opportunities, and that is why we need to give equitable solutions. The physical textbooks are not reaching to the concern. So, we need to provide them digitally so that equity can be built. They are not without anything, they do not have anything to develop on. So, that is how we need to bring equity also through technological solutions. Like in some areas there is a dearth of teachers, teachers are not there in the school system, but through online mode we can reach out to students by having digital solutions, where a teacher is teaching in his or her schools to students, but the output can be there in many more schools. So, that is how technological solutions can provide access and equity.
So, ma'am, once the importance was recognized, how thrust areas were identified?
Yeah. So, these are some of the thrust areas of digital education. So, technology can be integrated into the system for teaching, learning and evaluation process, because these are the three areas every teacher and teacher educator has to deal with. He or she has to teach, they have to learn and make student learn, and they have to evaluate to understand the achievement of outcomes. Then supporting teachers' preparation and professional development, technology should be harnessed for teacher preparation, so that pupil teachers need to be equipped with the technological solutions and digital pedagogy, so that they come trained into the system, and also for the professional development of teachers, because I also mentioned that there are more than crore teachers into the system. Reaching them face to face is not possible. So, we need to harness the potential of technology to reach out to this many teacher population, for the professional development of this teacher population. Then enhancing educational access, I have already given some example for educational access, how technology can enhance educational access. Then streamlining educational management and administration. So, our administrators also spend a lot of time managing things at school level and also for administration purpose. Now, it is possible to send any notice across country with a click of, it is just a click away. We can just click and the message reaches to many, and email facility is also there for spreading messages and spreading important notices. Earlier there used to be one day dedicated to fee collection, but now fee deposition is also possible through online mode, and we need not to spend a whole day on collecting a fee. We need not to have a fee day in the school. Then removing language barriers, I already mentioned that in the challenge segment, that Linguistic diversity is also one of the challenge, so we need to remove those barriers with AI solutions like translation tools, and also the developing digital textbooks at least in 22 languages which are there in the 8th schedule of Indian Constitution. So that is how we can remove language barriers. And also I talked about Diksha portal, where each and every states and union territories has their own spaces. So in their spaces they can have textbooks in their own regional languages, and if students of that regional languages is residing anywhere else, he or she can access those textbooks. Then access to Divyang student is also very important. We need to made access possible to Divyang students also. There is a provision of home based education, which again is a far flung dream. So home based education is not possible for each Divyang students, but now education can be brought to their homes by digital solution. We have 200 DTH channels in multiple languages, and any Divyang students can just follow a school schedule by these DTH channels. So that is how access is made possible for Divyang students as well. These are some of the recommendations of online and digital education in NEP 2020. Pilot studies for online education, which I have already mentioned, I am just reiterating these points. Digital infrastructure, online teaching platforms and tools, addressing digital divide through multimode delivery of education like telecast and broadcast technology, content creation, repositories and disseminations, then building digital competencies among students and teachers, content pedagogy and technology integration, blended mode of learning, and then CPDs and incentive for teachers. We need to have CPDs and give incentive also for completing those professional development courses. Then we need to make a robust system of online assessment and examination, and also we need to lay down standard for everything that we do. We need, if we talk about quality digital content, we need to have a standard for that, how quality digital content is created. And so this is all about this, and yeah, some of the major digital initiatives are also there.
Because ma'am, once you identified the concern areas and you started working on it, and you also mentioned the recommendations of NEP 2020, though you have taken the name of these initiatives, but if you can just tell them about them briefly, because we are running short of time, that would be really great.
Yes. So PM eVidya is there, Nishtha is there, which we have already talked about, but you can see them in infra, is in this infographic. If we just project this slide, Diksha, Swayam, E-Pathshala, ICT curriculum. So all these initiatives are there, which are catering to the implementation of NEP 2020, and especially the 2 chapters which are there in NEP 2020, chapter 23 and chapter 24, which talks about the importance of digital technology. So these are the major initiatives. Now these are some of the aspects which National Curriculum Framework for Foundational Stage talks about on educational technology. So there should be diversity in content, and there should be access through multimode like radio, TV. Then content repositories needs to be there. Digital infrastructure and platform need to be leveraged. Then digital infotainment for children, because young children want to learn more through a content, through a pedagogical practice which is engaging
and joyful.
So infotainment, entertainment and infotainment,
information
there. And technology for inclusive access also need to be identified, and there should be tools especially designed to address the need of the young students. And these are some of the strategies which are mentioned in National Curriculum Framework for school education for different stages of education. Like for foundational stage, it says use of technology as a tool to engage children in interactive and experiential learning.
Ma'am, what is the age group for the foundational stage?
The foundational stage is from pre-primary to class 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Then preparatory stage 3 to 5, which introduce and here the technological solution is mentioned. Basic technology skills and digital literacy by educational games, interactive multimedia content and simple educational apps. For middle stage, it says, which is 6th to 8th, it says enhance subject learning, promote critical thinking and creativity through interactive simulations, content simulations, virtual labs, multimedia presentations and collaborative online projects. Then secondary stage is spread from class 9 to class 12th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th are covered. So stage 1 is 9th and 10th. For this it says support specialized learning, then preparation for higher education and career using e-books, online courses, virtual reality for complex subject solutions like virtual reality, coding platforms and collaborative tools. And for 11th and 12th, it recommends facilitate in-depth understanding, research skills and career preparation utilizing online research, resources, webinars, advanced simulations and platforms for project based learning. So these are some of the areas which are recommended for specific area of education.
And then school education is also taking a lot of benefit from ICT, because you're talking about the apps, and this is not just about the regular schools, it's also about the non-conventional schooling system, like your open schooling. So ma'am, please throw some light on this as well.
Yeah.
What is the potential?
Yeah. It makes possible individual attention to students. It also makes possible content creation using technology. It also makes possible access, which I already spoken at length. Then interactive content, it also makes content, the development of interactive content, where students can just interact with the content, like drag drop kind of solutions, and it also empowers teachers. Then possible online solutions are portals and apps like DICT, then QR code technology, virtual labs, content creation capabilities are there, assessment questions, question banks, animations, national digital education architecture is also there, which I have already spoken about, and there are digital textbooks and libraries also.
Okay, now ma'am, you talked in the beginning, it's not just about using the technology but also identifying the potential risk. So let's talk about those precautions that schools need to take when it comes to using ICT.
Yes, that is very important actually. So there are deep risks which are aligned with technology, like identity threats are there, and getting into the cyber crimes is also one of the potential risks when we are there. So then we need to take precaution on that, and we need to focus on cyber safety and security. We also need to focus on our own privacy and respecting the privacy of other children. Then distraction, when technology is there, there is a lot of distraction which is brought about by technology. So we need to just control that distraction. You don't just carried away by technology. Then there is inappropriate things also aligned to technology, like we get into indulging into inappropriate content. There is commercialization also. When there is technology, there is a practice that there come a lot of players which are providing different solutions for the commercial purpose. But we need to see what solution is appropriate for what purpose. So we need to just control all these tendencies and take precaution that we are not carried away by.
Absolutely.
all these things.
Ma'am, we need to look for the essence. We need to look for what technology is bringing to the table, whether it is for the welfare or for the profits. So there's a lot that we can actually take care of. The bottom line is we need to stay updated. We need to stay informed while using the technology and taking its benefit when it comes to education.
Right.
So, ma'am, thank you so much for sharing this journey and for opening up this training program and for your time and contribution to the session.
Thank you so much. Thank you all the viewers.
So, dear viewers, it was our first day of our online training program where today we talked about online and digital education, perspectives of NEP and NCF under the umbrella theme of this week's training, which is online and digital education in the lens of NEP 2020. With this, we are wrapping up the session over here. And as I said, please log on to CIET's website if you wish to participate in the assessment that will take place on the last day of the training session. And now it's time for me to tell you about what's coming up next. And here is the program schedule. So in a short while from now, you can watch our session Sahyog, where the topic is going to be setting boundaries, self-care in relationships, learn to say no, foster healthy relationships, friendship and healthy boundaries. So please make sure you participate in the session. And with this is a wrap. This is me, Harpreet Kaur, signing off. Namaskar.